Hello, everyone. We have a little kind of nugget episode for today because I felt like it was very seasonal and important because I get too many questions on this. So I thought, you know what? Let me record a really quick episode essentially answering this. I know I could voice message this to all of you, but that way more of you actually get to listen to this. And it's about alcohol. It's about drinking. It's about socializing and drinking. I know that we are in the swing of summer. Well, for Australians, sorry, you're not, but this is still relevant for you guys because you guys love to drink too. And a lot of us struggle with the whole not drinking thing because our culture is very much centered around alcohol. Socializing is centered around alcohol still. Dinners, like just alcohol like brings people together, which it's shitty, but it is the way that it is. As many of you would know, I don't really drink. I'm not like I'm not sober. I don't not drink per se. It's just that I don't really ever drink. Um, I couldn't even tell you the last time I had a drink. Well, I had a sip of my fiance's cocktail 4 nights ago at dinner, like literally a sip, and it was amazing. It was like a really cucumber fresh. Like I was like, oh, wedding inspo. Anyway, total side note. I don't really drink. I have gone through my phases, which I'll quickly talk about with you guys. But when I do drink, because sometimes I'm like, you know what? I want a glass of wine. Like I want a fucking cold rosé. I want to just like, when I'm in Europe with my man, I'm like, yeah, I want a glass of white wine. Yes, I want a glass of rosé. I'm not so much of a champagne person, to be honest. Like I'd actually much prefer to have a glass of rosé over champagne. Same with like cocktails. I feel like I'm such an adult now. I'm like, wine, please. Or sometimes I want like a fucking margarita. Like I love a good skinny margarita. A skinny margarita is basically no sugar in the margarita. Like none of that sugar syrup or agave syrup. None of that. But like for our wedding, for example, I will not be drinking. And I'm going to do a Q&A very soon on wedding questions. So keep a lookout on my Instagram stories so you don't miss your opportunity to drop any questions in for the wedding because I want to do that episode. I'll probably release that episode in July. So like kind of soon. And then we'll do more episodes actually in wedding season because I know you guys will be like longing for that shit. But I will want to do that Q&A like a little bit earlier. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, for our wedding, we are having obviously alcohol, but we're also having mocktails. So how I organized it was we have two mocktails that also can have alcohol added in. So we have non-alcoholic gin, and then we also have like the alcoholic version, and one is made with like tequila or something, and one is made with gin, which is really nice because I'm like, I want to drink a cocktail. Like I designed my cocktail and then my fiance designed his cocktail. So I'm like, I would like a cocktail. I want to hold the cocktail. I'm making like a cucumber celery. Like it sounds kind of gross, but it's actually really good. It was inspired by the Ritz in New York. I had this cocktail there and I was like, holy shit, I need this at the wedding. It's amazing. Just very like not sweet, refreshing, and just like it feels hydrating, which obviously if it's a cocktail, it's not. But anyway, we're having the mocktail version because a lot of my friends, don't necessarily not drink, but they prefer to have less alcohol. And so for them, it's that really nice alternative where they can have what feels like a cocktail, but it's actually um a mocktail. And I even am making for my cocktail, it has to be in like a tall like martini margarita kind of glass, like a really fancy one, because I am like I want to hold the fancy glass. Like I'm literally, you could put water in this thing, but I want the glass. Like that is why I'm holding it. I do not want it just in like a tumbler. No thank you. um he's got his in a tumbler, mine's in a fancy glass. So the wine that I drink, though, that you guys have seen before, I put it on my Instagram stories, is Aveline. And I discovered this. The reason why I drink this wine, like in the US, if I'm drinking wine, is because it has no shit in it. Super low sugar, or maybe even no sugar. I can't remember. Super low sugar. It's got none of the preservatives in it. In the US, they don't have strict guidelines on, I mean, fucking anything at this point. But in the EU, many of us notice that when we're in Europe, we can drink wine and not feel as hungover. We don't get sore tummies from it. Our skin doesn't break out from it. And more importantly, the hangover, like if you've had one glass of wine, you don't feel it. If I look at a glass of wine in the US, immediate headache. Like literally the wine here upsets my stomach so much and it makes me break out straight away. Essentially, like the next morning I'm like, oh, hello, Mount Vesuvius. And then I also will get a sore tummy and I will feel that like dull headache. And I am so sensitive to changes in my body because I feel so good all the time that when I have like the slightest bit of an upset stomach, I'm telling you right now, the world is ending. It is ending. So I drink Aveline, and some of you might have seen it on Instagram before. That's how I found it. And it's actually really, really good. Maybe if you're like a wine connoisseur or like a sommelier, I should say, you are like, it's not the best. But for someone that just wants like a dry glass of rosé or a dry white wine, I haven't actually tried their red. I think it's perfect. And okay, so when we had our engagement party here, I drank. And that was the first time my fiance actually saw me like kind of tipsy slash veering towards drunk. And I only drank Aveline. We had like 3 bottles behind the bar for like me and my other friends. And I probably drank a whole bottle of Aveline over the course of like 5 hours. So I was like, I was having fun, especially because of one sip of champagne, I can feel it. I can't drive. I am such a lightweight that I can't drive a car if I've had a glass of wine. I know a lot of people can have 2, 3 glasses of wine and feel fine. My response time is so slow when I drink, and I just don't feel like 100. It's not even that I don't feel 100%. I actually just feel slow. So I never can drive a car when I drink a glass of wine. Anyway, so I had this like basically this whole bottle of wine. I actually forgot the next day that I drank because I never drink. So I like when I woke up the next morning, I wasn't like thinking, oh my God, last night was a rager. I drank so much alcohol. I actually forgot that I drank until somebody was like, how do you feel today, Monica? Because you never drink. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that I had all that wine last night. I literally feel completely normal. And I drank a whole bottle of wine, a whole bottle. And I felt completely fine the next day. No hangover, no headache, no sore tummy, no skin issues. So if you live in the US, I would really recommend getting Aveline. And I also have a code that we got for you guys. So I put that below as well. I highly recommend. In Europe, or when I'm in Australia, it's a different story. In the US, they are allowed to put about, I think it's like 74. I want to say that could be totally wrong. So just like don't quote me on that. Let me Google it. Hold on. This article says there's 48 legal allowed additives in wine. 25 of them were 25% of them were flagged as controversial, or something that our experienced winemaker we consulted would hesitate using or drinking himself. Not a vibe. So anyway, my point is that this isn't the case in the EU, and I'm honestly assuming Australia as well because they're so much tighter with food regulations too, just like the EU. I'm not saying Australia is perfect by any means. We are not. We have plenty of junk food there as well, and there's plenty of obesity happening there and plenty of disease, but it's better than it's more tight in terms of restrictions than the US. So I am convinced that why I feel so shit drinking wine here is literally because of the stuff in the wine. And like once you're so healthy, I like smell vegetable oil and I'm like, oh, I'm getting sick. Like I have a sore tummy because I've just like smelt it. The more that you are in tune with your body, the healthier that you feel. The smallest thing just like sets you off because you know what it feels like to feel so good. And most of us don't know what it feels like to feel really good. So anyway, that's the wine that I drink. So in terms of socializing and not drinking, a couple of things is if you actually want to drink, I would be having the Aveline because then you don't feel so shit and you're not doing so much damage on your liver as well because of all of these added things that are in conventional wine. But I also want to go into like how I socialize without drinking. The answer is I socialize without drinking. Like that is honest, like that is the answer is I socialize without drinking. People ask like, how do you go out with friends and not drink? I'm like, I go out with friends and I don't order alcohol. Like I don't get a wine. I don't drink. I have no shame around not drinking. And so my question for you is, do you have shame around not drinking? Do you feel embarrassed? Do you feel less than? Do you feel weird? Do you feel like, you're the weird one, you're the odd one out. People are not going to be friends with you anymore because you don't drink. If people aren't going to be friends with you anymore because you're not consuming alcohol, you probably don't want to be friends with them. I'm just saying. I like my bachelorette that's happening in New York, the second one. First one was a bit different. My first one, my fiance and also my like best Aussie friends, I've known them for nearly my whole life. They're like, you're drinking, bitch. Like you don't have a say. And I'm like, fine, okay. And it's different kind of friendship level, right? So I was like, whatever, fine. But in New York, like I'm not drinking. And when we sent the text out, when my maid of honor sent the text out to everyone coming, it was beautiful. It was like, by the way, like here is the plan, blah, blah, blah. A lot of us are probably not going to drink. So there's no pressure on drinking. I don't want, and like, we don't want any of you guys to think that this is going to be like some crazy weekend where you're going to need a whole week to recover. I know bachelorettes can be pretty out of control these days, where it's like a 4-day long weekend. You forked out like $5,000 to have, you have to fly somewhere, you have to take days off work. And there is just like a monumental consumption of alcohol. And that for a lot of us, like, takes weeks to recover from. Yeah, I don't run my bachelorettes like that because I don't want it. I literally could not think of anything worse than being around like 14 women for 4 days just consuming alcohol and there being no men to like provide direction. You know, when you're with your girlfriends and everyone's like, I don't mind. I don't mind. What do you want to do? What are you going to do? I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind. And I'm like, oh my God, somebody make a fucking decision. So I couldn't do that anyway. But yeah, in my experience, what the issue is with socializing and not drinking for a lot of people is their own self judgment. And here's the thing. So many people are sick of drinking these days. So many people, especially if you're like 26 plus, I feel like you are over it. You are over having the pressure to drink. People like don't want to. If you actually like really get into it, most people are like, I wish I could go out for dinner and not be hungover the next day. I wish I could go out for dinner and not actually drink anything. Like I just want to drink water. But we have normalized the consumption of alcohol to such an extent that it's so habitual that people feel stress not ordering a glass of wine. They feel like they're going to be rejected. They feel like they're the weird one. Well, let me tell you, be the weird one. Be that light for your friends where they feel like, oh my God, okay, if Shannon cannot ask for a drink, I'm not going to drink either. I can't tell you how many times I've gone out with friends and I haven't told them like I'm not drinking. And and you know, the lady will say, what do you want to drink? And I'll be like, just a sparkling water with lemon, please. And my friends will then be like, you know what? I'm going to do the same. It's like I give them permission to not have to drink, because especially on a work night, a lot of people don't. So what I drink instead of alcohol is potentially a mocktail. A lot of places now have really great, what do they call it? Like zero something, like cocktails. But a lot of them have sugar in them, like sugar syrup. So I will get them with no sugar. Most of the time, the waiter's like, it's not going to be sweet then. Like it's going to be like very cucumbery, or like it's going to be kind of like savory. I'm like, great, bring it out. So I don't do any of the like syrups, but you can if you want to do syrup, like it doesn't matter. I just don't do any. And then I also am just like a sparkling water and lemon whore. That's what I drink. I drink so much sparkling water and lemon. People come over to the house and they're like, do you have any juice? Do you have any of this? And I'm like, we have water. I'll never forget when my fiance and I first started dating, and when he came to New York for the first time, he opened the fridge. He's like, do you not have any like orange juice or like any other drinks of choice? I'm like, no, I have soda water at like the LaCroix, which is in like the cans. He's like, do you have any of the flavored ones? I'm like, nope. Literally, I drink water and my taste buds are accustomed to that. Like, I don't crave anything else. So let yourself be that friend where you lead by example. And a lot of people also get worried, I won't have as much fun if I'm not drinking. How many of us have the best fucking car parties? There you go. How many of us have the best fucking parties in the car? We're driving. We're obviously stone fucking sober in the middle of the day. It's not even dark and we are just jamming out feeling so good. Right. All of us, like the best. I have the best parties when I am like alone, music blaring, etc. I just literally pick that up and put that into my friend group. I'm not waiting to be tipsy. I don't need permission to like let my hair down. I just do it. I want to let my hair down. I want to have some fun. I want to blare the fucking lyrics to Mr. Brightside, and that is that. I don't need something else to then help me actually do that thing. So you probably, if you do struggle to like have fun, dance, let your hair down without drinking, the solution isn't to keep drinking. The solution would be to maybe meditate before you go out, or if you're anxious, or the solution could be to play some music before you go out so you're feeling like really high in a good way and like excited by everything, so that you kind of bring that energy into it. It can also be, you know what I'll sometimes do? I'll like close my eyes for a second and I'm like, and I literally just like flip a switch. And then when I open them, I'm just like, jack it off, let's fucking go. And it's kind of like it's like you have to break the ice for yourself and just like all of a sudden do a slut drop. And then you, all of a sudden, that's the quote of the century. All of a sudden do a slut drop and then you're basically good to go. It's true though. Like you slut drop and then you're like, right, I'm ready to party. And you're stone sober. I also know from plenty of experience that when you're around the right people, you feel drunk, you feel high. It's called happiness. Like you are so high on like good cortisol, just like the energy of all of the thing. If you're kind of like in a good stress, because you can also release cortisol when you are like good stressed. Um, so it can be the high of cortisol or adrenaline. It can be the high of the dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin that you are getting from your connection with these people. So just like when you're with those old school friends that you just like get along with, or maybe they're not school friends, they're just like your best friends and you're just like being fucking crazy and you're like, oh my God, no one can see this in public. That you're riding that high because of the amazing people that you're around. So also if you're surrounding yourself with amazing people, you don't need alcohol to have fun, because the energy of the space, the energy of the people and the conversations and the laughs, that is actually bringing the fun and the joy. And it's clear that you're able to feel like you can let your hair down because you're not worrying about being judged by them. You don't feel judged by them. You don't feel like they're analyzing you. You don't feel like you have to keep a facade on in order to keep the friendship alive. And, you know, part of that is also you. If you don't feel confident to be able to not drink, that is also a you thing. Like, yes, it could be that it's a really toxic friendship and like that's the whole thing in and of itself. But you know, I have a very deep sense of self-confidence now, which is also then allows me to be in any situation with people that I have never met before and don't drink. We go to plenty of weddings and I will meet people that I've never met before, and I don't have a drink in my hand. Oh, I'll have like a soda water, like a sparkling water. Sorry, I'm saying soda water now because I now live here, and I'll say a sparkling water or a mineral water to people here and they literally are like, what is a sparkling water? I'm like, or they'll be like, we only have soda water. I'm like, it's literally the same thing. Anyway, I meet plenty of people for the first time, go to weddings, have fun, stone sober. We went to one wedding a few months ago now, and it was an amazing wedding. And the after party was amazing. And I was stone sober, like stone sober. And one of my fiance's friends was like, wow, Monica, you like can have fun. Like I couldn't like even Hal was like, wait, this is so random. And I'm like, yeah, your friends haven't seen me like this because all I need is some good fucking music. You give me a DJ, some red lights, a fucking disco ball, and I am off to the races. You know, everyone's shoes came off, people were fucking sweating. And I'm like, honestly, once we get sweaty, like I am here for it. So we had the best time, and I was stone sober. And you wake up the next morning feeling so good. Well, actually, I still wake up the next morning feeling hungover because you're so tired. But I'm like, thank God it's from like being tired, not also alcohol. And yeah, people will like, his friends were just like, oh my God, you like know how to have fun. You can dance, like you can get down. People sometimes think that I'm just like uptight. And then they actually like, when they see me with some good music, they're like, this bitch ain't uptight. And I'm like, yeah, wait for the wedding, people. Wait for the wedding, because what we're doing at the wedding, what we have planned at the wedding is so much fun. A lot of people would be like, I would need to be drunk to do those things. And I will be stone sober. I'll probably just have some green tea in my system to like keep me going. And I will be stone sober, and I will be under the influence of plenty of burrata and love. Burrata, because we're getting married in Italy. So I mean, I feel like this might not have been the answer that you guys wanted for how to socialize without drinking per se, but it's because I think a lot of people overcomplicate something so simple. How do you socialize without drinking? You socialize with, like, you just don't have alcohol in your hand. You don't order alcohol. You don't say yes to alcohol when someone's like pressuring you, like, oh, come on, have a drink, have a drink. It's no, thank you, but no. Like, come on, like, stop pressuring me. I'm not having a drink. You're standing firm in your own boundaries. You are commanding self-respect, and you are not going to be a pushover because somebody else is pressuring you because of their own shit. I don't care whether somebody drinks or not. I don't make alcohol mean anything. So I would never put it on somebody else. I would never pressure somebody else. Obviously, I don't drink either. But when you're pressuring somebody else into something, it's a projection of your own insecurities. Most of the time when somebody is pressuring you to drink, it's actually because they're jealous that you're not drinking. It's because they wish that they had the self-discipline and the self-commitment to be able to not drink. They're jealous that you're going to wake up feeling good tomorrow morning, and they're going to wake up feeling like they've been hit by a bus. You need to continue to say no, because the more that, like, you know, and I've obviously got like a new friendship group and a new circle down here with my fiance's friends and everything. And in the beginning of them getting to know me, they would obviously offer me a drink and I would politely say no. And I would ask for soda water. Oh my God, there we go again. I'd ask for sparkling water, and they would ask me, oh, do you not drink? And I would say, no, like I drink when I want to, but I just don't want to right now. And they would be like, some of them would be like, okay. Others would be like, oh, come on, like have some fun, let your hair down. And I'd be like, my hair is down. I'm having fun. I don't need a drink. And that's literally what I would say. I'd be like, all right, like shut up, buddy. And I would say it in this really like calm but powerful way of like, bro, I am having fun. If it's like a guy, or if it's a girl, I'm like, I am having fun. And it kind of throws people because they're like, I'm literally like, people assume that because you're not drunk, you're not having fun. So I remind them, like, oh, I'm having fun. I actually have more fun. And this is true. I have more fun being sober than I do drunk. I never have more fun being drunk because the whole time I feel shit. I feel shit the next day, which kind of like overrides the night before. And I regret, like, the regret that I feel because I feel so awful when I drink. And I think some people do get worse hangovers than others. I am pretty sure if I remember correctly that I have the thing where your liver doesn't process alcohol very well. And I know my mom has it, and I got tested maybe like it would have been like 12 years ago at this point. And I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly that I have it as well. Basically, just my liver doesn't detoxify as well as other people's does. And so I definitely feel more hungover, and I feel the hangover for a longer period of time. But also, I just feel so good on a day-to-day basis that hangover feels like I have been literally hit by a bus and then hit by a truck and then rolled over by a steam train. So that feeling then like haunts me the whole night that I'm trying to have fun. I can have so much more fun. I can let my hair down. I can let go. I can turn my mind off when I'm not drinking because I'm not worried about the next day. When I'm drinking, I'm literally so worried about the next day that it actually affects my ability to have fun that night, if that makes sense. So I put my foot down. I remind people, remember that, ladies, like, and gentlemen, if you're listening, literally tell people I am having fun. I don't need alcohol to have fun. And you're not saying it in like a condescending way, like I don't need alcohol to have fun like you do, because you're not judging somebody. You're not, and you can remind them of that. Sometimes people will be like, oh my God, are you judging me because I'm drinking? And I'm like, no, I think you're judging yourself because you're drinking. And they're like, oh shit, okay, probably. So I think also because of my job, but I do have to remind people quite a bit sometimes. I'm not judging you. You can do whatever you want. I just don't want to do that. And that's okay. So yeah, you never want to make somebody else feel judged because then you're kind of making it like, oh, you're better than them because you're not drinking. Everyone's on their own journey. Some people really enjoy drinking. You're listening to this because you don't. So remember that. So don't now lie to yourself the next time you're out this weekend being like, oh, I'll just have one drink. You're listening to this because you don't like drinking, because you want to stop. So stop. Commit to yourself right now that when you don't want to drink, you aren't drinking. So I have a rule for myself. When I'm not having fun, there is absolutely no way in hell that I am saying yes to a beverage. When I'm not having fun, a lot of people do the opposite. A lot of people are like, okay, I'm not having fun. I'll have a drink because then I'm going to have fun. No, 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 no. When I'm not having fun, there's no alcohol being consumed. So if I am having fun, sometimes I'll be like, you know what? Fuck it. Give me the tequila shot. And that's like I'm going to have fun with it. But I have a rule for myself that I will never ever ever drink when I'm not having fun. And sometimes I might drink, very rarely. If I'm already having fun, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Bring me the glass of water. The glass of water. Wow. That's me having fun. Bring me the glass of rosé or whatever it is. But what I've always felt for myself is that when the energy is really good in my body, one, I'm not regretting it the next day. And two, it's like my body can process it better, which is actually like in terms of traditional Chinese medicine, the liver energetically is also about processing emotions. So if you're like, if there's anger, if there's regret, if there's guilt, if there's shame, that can then stall the liver. So that can then obviously, if you're feeling shitty about yourself with drinking, that can obviously make things harder to detox. When you're like so happy, so in love with life, conversation's great, the people are great, it's just like a fucking vibe. You're like, yes, I want a glass of rosé. Amazing. Or a glass of wine or a tequila shot, margarita, whatever it is. It's like my liver, excuse me, can process it better because I'm happier. And the next day, I'm not annoyed about my headache. If I had a headache, for example, I'm not annoyed about it. I'm like, last night was so much fun. And it's that feeling of I actually know it was fun because I was having fun before I started drinking. And I don't drink to the point of getting drunk, besides honestly my engagement party at my bachelorette in Sydney, I did, but I don't drink to the point of getting drunk. I'm very adult about it now. Of like, I will slowly sip on a glass of wine if I'm having a glass of rosé because I want the taste of it. I want the vibe of it. So the energy in which you're also drinking, I'm a big believer, has a massive impact on then how you feel, not just mentally about yourself, but also how you feel from the alcohol as well. So let me just add in a few other little things for you guys around what you can actually do to socialize without alcohol and what I do, and what we do also, just like in our relationship, because like I said, my fiance also doesn't really like drinking and he doesn't drink very much at all. Like I really don't drink, but he drinks a little bit, but definitely prefers not to. And it's hard, like we've spoken about, like it's hard these days because so much of society and so much socializing really does like go around alcohol. So don't be afraid to be that friend that also organizes activities that aren't centered around alcohol, because so many more people want to be able to drink less because no one feels good drinking. But a lot of people just don't, you know, let's just say have the balls to figure that out for themselves, or they are worried about then being like an outsider and whatnot. So, a couple of things. You've probably heard of pickleball before. I don't know whether it's a US thing or whether people do it in other countries as well. I really was like, about this whole like pickleball thing. It sounded so fucking lame. And then we went with some new friends a couple weekends ago and played pickleball for the first time. And it was actually really fun because it wasn't as intense as tennis. And you're like, tennis, you're in a much bigger court, whereas pickleball, you're in like half the size of a tennis court. So you can also kind of be talking at the same time. And it was also just fun. And you got a great tan because it's summer here. So that was a really fun option. Another thing is like just hanging out by the pool and not needing to get alcohol. Like just don't get alcohol, get soda water. Or if you're at home, get what I've spoken to you guys about before, get something called seed lip, and don't get the green one. The green one tastes like ass. It actually just tastes like literally like cut up grass, so it's disgusting. Get one of the other two, not the green one, and make mocktails at home. So my favorite one is to use either of the spiced one or like the orange. What's the other one called? I don't know. Either of the non-green ones basically. And I will juice some grapefruit. So like I'll get a fresh grapefruit and I'll juice some grapefruit, pour that into like the shaker thingy with some soda water, some ice, seed lip, rosemary, like a rosemary sprig as well. And is there anything else? That's it. And then I pour it over into like a martini glass or just like a tall kind of cocktail glass. And it tastes so amazing. Basically, Seedlip is like a non alcoholic gin, essentially. And there's a ton of non alcoholic gins out there now. But what I like about the Seedlip one is they've infused it with spices. So it actually tastes really, really good in like mocktail drinks. And a lot of bars are actually stocking Seedlip now too, which is really cool. So, you know, when you go to bars, you can order something off the mocktail list. I will often do that because a lot of places are now, you know, putting really nice mocktails on the menu. I will just ask for it to be served up, so in a tall glass, because like the only reason why I'm drinking it is literally to hold the glass. And then I will also just eliminate any sugar if they put any like, you know, syrups or anything like that in it. And they'll be like, then it will taste very tart. I'm like, I know, that's great. So I just don't do any sugar because, as many of you know, I am as sugar free as I possibly can be. That's kind of like a cute little rhyme. I'm as sugar free as I can possibly be. Does it rhyme? Me be? Kind of. Okay, so pickleball, like hanging out by the pool and doing that. Obviously, you guys know, like going out for coffee, you can go out for dinner as well, but just don't order alcohol at the table. So simple. Other things like going on walks. That's something that I've been getting very into now living in Atlanta. We live in such a beautiful area. The houses are just so fucking stunning for like so many suburbs around where we live just have the most beautiful houses. So we're not short on places to walk. And so often friends and I will just grab the dogs and go for a walk of an afternoon or of a weekend morning and go to the farmers market rather than like going out for dinner and whatnot. So that's been a really big thing. I love to host. So I will like do dinner parties for us as well. And I will cook. I'll put everything in the slow cooker in the morning. So I'm not having to do so much of an evening. And then I'll make my mocktails with seed lip and stuff. And if other people want to drink, they can, or we'll supply some Aveline wine. And I might have like a little bit of that if I want to, if I feel it. And if it's not during the week, because I absolutely do not drink during the week by any means. And so there's that. What else? Oh, we love to go on trips with friends. So going on like ski trips with friends. I know everybody drinks when they're skiing, but we don't. And most friends don't either. And we go skiing and we have fun and then we chill at nighttime. I think it's really just around what I've noticed is just be that friend that makes fun out of nothing, because then it stops people thinking like, oh, I have to go get alcohol as a crutch. You know, when people come over to like our place, it's like they're not even registering, oh, I need to get a drink. I mean, sometimes people like are, but I try to make it such an environment where people aren't even feeling like I'm missing something, aka alcohol, in some way, shape, or form. And I've just gotten creative with the way that I do things and like how I'm meeting out with friends. Instead of feeling like I have to go out for dinner or go out for a drink, it's like, how can I involve something that's active with this? That's been the biggest thing for me. It's like, if I involve something active with this, we're not really going to be drinking then. So playing pickleball, playing tennis, like, I don't know, going horseback riding with your friend, going for a swim, like hanging out by the pool, having a girls' night, watching a movie, going on holidays together where you're then adventuring, you're going on long walks, you're having gelato, you're adventuring around the town, you're going out for breakfast or lunch. It's like, how can you be creative? And a lot of us are just not thinking beyond alcohol when it comes to socializing. And we think that none of our friends would want to do anything else besides go out drinking or hang out and have small talk. Like nobody wants to do that. Literally no one. Oh, another thing that I just thought of is around Christmas time, because a lot of drinking will happen around Christmas time. So we'll pop this one back up on my Instagram stories around Christmas time this year. So what we have been doing the last 2 years here, since living in Atlanta, that's been really fun. And I actually did this in New York as well when I was living there too, is we will invite friends over and we will do like puzzles. I'll bake cookies. We'll have like an amazing dinner. And literally there just like won't be alcohol involved. We also play, oh my God, I love this game. We also get those conversation cards, like the naughty ones and whatnot, and we play them with our friends. And it's like people are having a hoot. Everyone is laughing their ass off. It is so funny because we're talking about sex and like just rude things, or we're playing Cards of Humanity. Is that what it's called? Cards of Humanity, whatever. You guys know that one. It's like, it's so fucking rude. Um, we're playing those games and like everyone's having so much fun and is so high on just the energy of the room that really so many people, like the vast majority of people, are not then thinking, I need a drink to get through this, because the environment is relaxing. If you're all tense, like tense carrots at the table, then yeah, people are going to be like, I need a drink to get through this. But if you're relaxed, other people are going to mirror that behavior. If you're feeling confident not drinking, other people are going to mirror that behavior. That is just human psychology. We mirror each other's behaviors. So get puzzles. We love to buy games and we then do games. I'll bake cookies for everybody and we'll have cookies. We'll play Cards of Humanity. We'll get different conversation starter packs and then also play them around the dinner table. And it's so much fun. And even then, if other people are drinking, you won't feel like you're missing out on the fun if you're not drinking, because the fun isn't revolved around alcohol. The fun is revolved around the cards that you're playing, or the puzzle, or the cookies that you're eating, or the movie that you're watching, and that kind of thing. I would really, though, suggest for those of you, because this has been a big thing for me, for those of you that sometimes want to drink or sometimes just want to have like a few sips of wine because you genuinely like the taste of wine. Like I actually like the taste of wine, but you really hate being hungover. You find the drinks that don't do it for you. So for me, it's like really good quality wine that's organic, no preservatives. So like when I'm in Europe, it's totally different. We all know that the wine in Europe is so different from the wine in the US, for example. So that's why I like getting the Aveline, or I'm making mocktails. And, those are my friends that even do drink. They're like, wait, that mocktail actually looks really good. I'll have one of those. And for so many of us, it's actually just the habitual pattern of having that glass in our hand, and it's not even necessarily about the alcohol itself. So it's like, how can you then swap what's in the glass for something for yourself, and maybe for your friends too, if they also want to join in, that doesn't contain alcohol? So looking at those non-alcoholic gins, looking at wines that actually feel better, or just drinking a lot less of it and really being okay with that, and finding other things that can be the center of the fun for you guys rather than the alcohol. So, my challenge for you guys this summer is to actually stand your fucking ground, to draw some boundaries, and to stop pleasing others at the expense of yourself. Stop judging yourself, stop shaming yourself, stop worrying about what other people are thinking of you, and start saying no to the alcohol when you don't want to drink the fucking alcohol. Okay. Those of you that live in the US as well, I don't know whether it's available elsewhere, but those of you that live in the US as well, I would get Aveline. Like I said, my favorite is the rose and the white wine. So we have like a heap in the house. Well, not a heap. We have like, well, for us, a heap, like 6 bottles. Like, oh my God, we're alcoholics. So we have 6 bottles around about that. But that way, when friends come over for dinner or whatever, we can open that wine. And if I'm like, if halfway through dinner, I'm like, actually, I kind of want some, then I'll have some. And I also prefer my fiance to have Aveline than other wine as well, just because like health, fertility, like preservatives, all that shit is not good for me, and it's also not good for him either. So I also prefer for him to drink that as well, and he likes it too and feels better with it as well. So we are doing a manifestation challenge, which is also going around the Lionsgate portal on August 8th. So if you haven't already signed up, you can sign up. Just there'll be a link below that you can sign up to. Just basically signing up to an email list. The manifestation challenge is through emails. They are all value packed emails. I think I have about like I think I have like 6 emails that go out over like a period of time. It's not too late to join. I think they end on the 12th of August. Yes, they end on the 12th of August. I have about 1 or 2 going out a week, and it's basically just a heap of things to start doing now for manifestation. Not just how to manifest, but it's about integrating manifestation into your life. They're all value packed. They're not selling. So if you want to get on that, do that. I did this last year. You guys absolutely loved it. So even if you did last year's manifestation challenge, we have a new email list. We're not going to like email it again to the same people as last year. So make sure that you sign up to this new manifestation challenge if you want to get the emails again, because they were really, really, really juicy. Okay, that is it. So please do not forget that if you haven't left a review on the podcast, by leaving a review, so leaving a little, nice message of what you've been getting out of it and what you love, take a screenshot before you click post and send us an email with it attached, and we will send you a little gift in response. When you guys leave those reviews, I look at them, I read them, and they really go so far. They mean the world. That helps other people find the podcast because it boosts it up in the algorithm. And it also is just like such a nice value exchange for me, because obviously I'm taking my time, my team's taking their time to put all the effort in for you guys. So when I hear that feedback, whether it's through DMs or whether it's written as a review, it really does mean the world. So even when you're sharing the podcast on your Instagram story to your friends, like that really means the world to me, because it's helping more people then get in touch with my words, which is what I'm here for. It's why I'm doing my job. I will see you guys in the next episode, and let me know how you go with finding other things besides alcohol to be social.